Have you ever wondered why veiny forearms look so good on men? Every teenager obsesses over having veiny forearms. And here's me who has it throughout the day without even trying. So, having visible veins on your forearms does not just show that you've been using them regularly and intensely, but also that you have a good amount of blood flow and alertness. Now, throughout history, humans have relied on their forearms quite a lot. So, we have been crafting tools and hunting and making fire from pieces of wood. And that's why having strong forearms increases your chance of survival in the wild. And that triggers some evolutionary primal parts of your brain that makes you feel that strong and veiny forearms are attractive. And luckily for you, I have 9 tips along with an action plan that you can follow very easily. And after this video, you would know exactly everything that you need to know in order to get long-lasting veiny forearms fast. So firstly, you cannot be fat. Have you ever seen a fat person with veiny, aesthetic forearms ever? Now, people like to simplify fat loss by saying that you just need to eat less, but I would not suggest that because when you do that, you also lose a good amount of muscle and you need a good amount of muscle to look good as well. I would suggest that you eat only the high quality, protein rich, animal based foods. Now, if you're a vegan, then please get off my channel. I don't want you over here. I want nothing to do with you. Now, speaking of muscle, the second tip is that you need to grow your forearm muscle as much as possible because it's a muscle that pushes your veins more and makes them show. And you would have seen a bunch of skinny guys with almost no fat throughout their body, but they still don't have visible veins on their forearm. And that's because they don't really have any muscle. Now, the best exercises to grow the muscles of your forearm, apart from the obvious methods, are firstly wrist curls. But for this, you need a barbell or at least a dumbbell. Now, many of you live in India, and in India, most parents don't allow their kids to go to a gym, and they themselves look like this. So instead of doing wrist curls, you can use a gripper. So you can find it quite easily in some nearby sports shop. But if you can't find it, then you can order it online as well. I ordered mine online, and you can check the pinned comment or you can check the description for the link. I would have linked it below. Now, if you cannot spend any money whatsoever, then the next best thing that you can do is that you can go to some nearby park and you can hang on a pull-up bar out there. Now, if that's too easy, then you can hang with one hand or you can add weight to your hanging and you can challenge yourself. You can try to beat your time each day. And that's also quite effective as the main muscle we use in that is your forearms and it gets tired very quickly. Now, if you have monkey bars in your nearby parks, then that's also a very good way to train your forearms. But just don't overdo it because you'll end up like me.
Oh my God!
Now, keep in mind that these 2 tips take a lot of time to show their results, but the remaining 7 tips that I talk about in this video are all very instant, but it comes at the cost of not having a very long-term result. So the third tip is that you need to get a pump. And what that means is you need to do some exercise which has a lot of reps and not much of rest in between. And you need to focus on the squeeze. So something like pull-ups or chin-ups would work well for this. And people think that the blood flow that happens is their muscle growing, but actually that's just a little bit of blood flow. Muscle growth actually mostly happens overnight when you're sleeping, and it's a very long process. You don't see results within a few days. It takes time to see results. And speaking of blood flow, the fourth tip is to wear a tight shirt, and tight especially around the biceps, and that's because it compresses the muscle a little bit and it causes more blood to go to your forearms and make your veins look a little more juiced up. And not just that, it will also make your arms look bigger. And as a natural lifter, you would actually not look like you even lift if you wear loose clothes. So you need to wear a little more well-fitted clothes on a daily basis anyway. So the fifth tip is that you can trim your arm hair. So if you're anything like me, my arm hair grows very fast. And you would have seen that it reduces the definition of your arm quite a lot. And it's better to trim it. But I still won't suggest you to trim it unless you already have a good amount of muscle and less body fat anyway. Because you want veins and you want the size of your forearm to be more just to look manlier. But trimming your body hair could make you look a little less manly, but having more body hair could make you look manlier. So that's why you have to have a right balance. You can't trim your hair too much and you can't keep your hand too hairy. So this will just come with a little bit of experimentation and messing up once or twice, but it could make a big difference. So the sixth tip is to eat a little bit of carbohydrates, especially carbohydrates that digest very quickly. And you have to eat it before your workout, and don't eat too much because then it will interfere with the workout. But if you eat it before your workout, what it actually does is it pulls water into your muscles, and this does not make you look bloated. It in fact makes you look strong. And try a little bit of rice or bread, but don't eat too much before your workout. And speaking of water, the seventh tip is to stay hydrated. Now, this does not just help with the veins, but helps with every other aspect of your life. And most of the people in the world are dehydrated. And when you're dehydrated, it does not just make you panic or anything, so you may not even know that you're dehydrated. But our muscles are also mostly made of water. And when you're dehydrated, you start to look smaller and deflated, and you just look weak. Now, the eighth tip is to stay in a warm environment. Now, I've seen this happen many times. I've been walking outdoors and I've seen a bunch of veins poking out like crazy. And then, as soon as I enter some air conditioned environment, my veins just vanish. Now, I obviously won't suggest you to move to a different country just to get some veins popping out. And I also don't recommend taking hot showers because that makes you very indisciplined. But apart from that, if you just want to take a few photos and for that you want a little warmer environment, and if it's possible to switch off the AC, or if it's possible to just go outside where it's a little warmer, then do those things. It will make you much more vascular. The ninth tip is to keep your hands down. Now in this video, as you can see, William Lee shows when he brought his hands up, his veins just simply vanished. Now gravity helps here. When you bring your arms down, then your blood flows into them, and that makes your arm look a little bigger and juicier, and your veins get a little more blood flow, making them pop out a little more. Now I get it, all this theory could be getting boring for you guys, and that's why I have the action plan. So straightforward step-by-step method on how to get veins as a, I'm assuming, young student who's going to school or college, and you get late for school or college every day. So I can't really expect you to do a full workout before going to school or college, but you can keep a gripper with you, and you can use it while taking a you can use it in a car or bus, maybe even below your desk in between lectures. There are many opportunities to be using a gripper, and don't make excuses, just do it whenever possible and find a way. Now, if you can't use a gripper, then just while taking a shower, you can use a bucket and you can put your hand against the surface and do wrist curls like I'm doing in this video right here. Or you can do the same with a bag. And for breakfast, don't have too much food, just have a little bit of fruits and a little rice. You don't need too much food, you just need something that is there in your body and just making everything work energetically. But you can even skip breakfast, but the best thing for your veins is to eat a little bit of quick digesting carbohydrates. If there is a particular type of carbohydrate that you think your body absorbs very well, it could be a bread, it could be rice, it could be roti or something as such. But just eat it fast and don't eat too much, because if you eat too much, then it will cause brain fog and laziness, and it will make it much harder for you to pay attention in your lectures. And as a student who's getting beaten up by the parents for getting bad grades, that is something you don't want, right? And when you finally get to school or college, even over there, you can try arm wrestling with your friends, and that's quite fun. And that also is a skill of its own, and that trains the forearms quite well. And arm wrestling is more of a forearm challenge than a bicep challenge, and it's more of a technique-based sport, but it trains the forearms quite a lot. And just look at the forearms of the top-level arm wrestlers, they're all jacked. And when you come back home, you can try doing a few pull-ups or chin-ups. And don't wear gloves or anything as such, even if you're going to a gym. And that's because pull-ups and chin-ups require you to hold your entire body weight with your hands. Similarly, while deadlifting or while using dumbbells in the gym, if you're using straps or belts and stuff like that, whatever, it reduces the amount of force your forearm has to put, and then you're not training your forearm as much. And that's mostly it. Keep in mind that all this muscle growth and fat loss and stuff gets much easier if you're sleeping enough. Now, sleep is the one non-negotiable thing that you can do, especially in your teenage, because it's not just about the muscle growth and stuff, it's also about the growth hormone production, and not getting enough sleep would cause permanent damage to your body, to your hormones, and you would regret that for the rest of your life, and you'll not be able to recover that little bit of sleep deprivation that you had in your childhood. So that's it for this video. I hope you all have very jacked and vascular forearms, and if you have any opinion about this video or about forearms in general, then do comment it down below. And if you have an idea for another video, then do comment down that as well, and I'll make it. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.